How's everybody doing today? Alfred Flores, CEO, President of New Age Electric. We're going to continue our tutorial on LiveCount Desktop, and this time we're going to incorporate branch conduit and wire or feeders. For this demonstration, I gotta say, I've tried out 3 other programs. I tried out the McCormick. I tried out the Conest. McCormick has a integrated takeoff program. It's not 2 different programs, if I remember right. Conest has a takeoff program, but they also have, just like Accubid, it's 2 different programs. There are other programs out there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this is by far the smoothest program out there, and the functionality between, even though it's 2 programs, it's almost seamless. I'm able to lay out jobs, like $1 million job. I can probably lay that thing out, man, in a solid 2 days. All the circuits, depending on how many feeders there are and how many circuits, but most of the time I'm seeing myself knocking this out in probably 1 or 2 days. And the way I do it is I count my circuits. If everybody, whoever doesn't know me, every single conduit gets laid out. If it's shared neutrals, it's gonna show 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 all in one pipe. If it's dedicated neutrals, you're gonna see 1, 3, 5, 7, and they're labeled in Accubid so that you could see. When I present this to somebody, they're gonna know that it was completely taken off to the fullest extent and the best of my ability. So I'm gonna jump into this, and I'm gonna show you how to do it in Accubid and how it goes right back into LiveCount. It's very simple. I'm gonna show you how to come back and maybe add lines into it. There is one. It's not a flaw, but you got to know how to add a disconnect to the line, and it's very simple. It did take me about a day to figure it out, but I did get it. So let's jump into this. Alright, so if you're doing your branch, you can either do it from your common assemblies. You might have something set up. In my opinion, the right way of doing it is you got to be using branch count and wire. It adds the makeup in there. You don't have to worry about it. You control how many wires are in a pipe. You're not selecting a pipe with predetermined wires. I don't like that at all. I like to know what I'm putting in my assembly. So we're gonna start off with branch count and wire. I'm gonna hit EMT steel. I'm gonna hit 3/4 inch, and you're gonna see it already jumps in right away, so I can jump right into my live count. Oop, I lost my mouse for a second. And like I said, you could zoom in here. We're gonna pick up everything in these rooms, so I'm gonna just show you for demonstration purposes how we're gonna do this. We're gonna go all the way over. We're gonna hit the panel that's way over here, and then we're gonna say it's coming off of this existing A panel. Right click. So when you want to finish this, you're gonna hit right click and return a quantity. As soon as you do that, you can see that everything is there. You can hit OK now. So there are counts when you do this, and there is a way to do it. I don't know it offhand, where it's not multiplying every time you click a button. I believe you got to hit shift or hold shift. I have to look into this more, but I don't do this at all. What I do is I unlink it and hit OK. So it's going to say you're about to unlink the count value from the length. It's not the length, it's just the counts. So if you hit OK, and I'll change this to 1, that way I know I have at least 2 connectors in the run, and that's because in your common assemblies for receptacles, at a minimum, you should have 2 connectors in there. That's 1 connector for the drop, and 1 connector that's probably going to go into the nearest box. And if you multiply those all out, unless you're adding boxes in between, you're more than covered on receptacles. So we're going to hit OK. I'm not going to put any of my supports in. This is just demonstrating purposes only. I'm going to hit next. I want to control my wires. I'm going to hit my number 12s. For those of you not seen this before, you can control how many conductors and how much wire markup you're going to put in your pipe. 5% is the minimum wire makeup because you're not pulling an exact straight line. You're always going to have some loose wire in these pipes. So we're going to put 9. Okay. Hit OK. Right click to finish. And that conduit's done. So I'm going to jump back into LiveCount. And here's one thing that the other programs do not have. Now this pipe right here, if I select it, see this description? It's actually the exact description that's in Accubid. Here's one of the best parts. Now, once you click this, it's automatically gonna be selected in Accubid, and I'm gonna show you. It automatically selected for me. Now, I know I'm jumping from two to screens, but I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna get off of it right now, and then I'm gonna jump back into Accubid, and then I'm gonna select it again so you can see. So I'm gonna select it. I'm gonna jump back into Accubid, and it automatically selected. So I like that because when I need to go add stuff to this, it's automatically selecting it, and I can change the name anytime I want. So in this case, I'm gonna pick up 1, 3, and 5. We're gonna say that. So in here, I like the name on my conduits. It literally takes a couple seconds to do this. Jump back in Accubid. I'm in LiveCount. I click this and see that exact verbiage is there. 3/4 inch EMT conduit, circuits 1, 3, and 5. Just like that. If you need to show somebody how you did this and they looked at how you took it, the odds are whoever's reviewing it with you is probably going to let you go in on a job a little bit tighter than he probably lets somebody else, because I've noticed in past experiences that I've seen people do it like engineers, where they'll take their wheel and make this arc all the way over there like this, and that's supposed to cover it. Hey, whatever works for you, but be honest, I have never not been competitive on my bid. I'm always either in the middle or just there. I always have a competitive number because I take off my jobs this way. Getting off topic. So let's say now we want to start picking up all these other receptacles, and in my assembly, I don't add the extra footage that gets you in the middle of a room, and that means that this drop actually has 12 feet of conduit built in, and that's just gonna get me over, if you understand what I mean. So it's gonna go up the wall and hook over. I like to take off everything to the middle of the room. So what I do is we want to make a disconnect line. So you take that and you want to hit add disconnect point. Once you do that, it reactivates it in Accubid. So you see I can't do nothing. So it prompts us that we're in LiveCount. Now you're able to go anywhere you want and bring it to a point. So how I do it is I'm going to strategically place boxes manually, so I know I'm covered on boxes. So let's say in this case, for them, we'll just say there's a box in each room. So I'm gonna go like this and then hit each one, and then you just click it again, and then you can just keep doing it over and over. This is, as I'm doing this, it's automatically sending it straight back to Accubid. I do not need to do anything else. It's very simple. Now, let's say you wanted to just, if you click, and I'm going to show you the other way you're doing it, what happens. I can show you what happens. So if you're in here and you double click in here and you want to edit this here and say, and you want to add points, which you think it would add points, right? But what it does is it takes it off from that last point you did, and I couldn't figure out for a while how this worked until I saw add disconnect point, and basically now you can, you could go wherever you want and add that point. Very simple, very fast, and like I said, it's very effective. I'm sorry, I was drawing in LiveCount and you guys weren't watching. Sorry. So what I did was I just added this next line, and what happens if you hit here, and if you do hit add points, sorry, I gotta add this in here again. Oh, I'm stuck in the thing. 1 second. Okay, so if I hit here and add points, it takes it off at the last spot. You can't do nothing. So if you hit disconnect, now you can take it off from wherever you want. So let's say we want to add this in here because that was circuit 3 too. So we'll just hit it there, and we're placing a box here, we're placing a box there. All right. I'll do second and last thing. Most important. Now you're probably wondering, well, what about your drops? It's pretty simple. You click the line, you're going to have this box that pops up. You can add how many adders you want, and this is like, I would just say your drops, or maybe you have to go higher in elevation, then come back down. You can control that right here. All you have to do is click the adder button, and what that does, it reopens this automatically back up. And while you're in here, just click OK to return quantity, which is, I always call it OK, return quantity to estimate. And there you go. It just added 10 feet of conduit for you. Love this feature. I think the other programs might have this too. I'm not really sure. Yeah, so moving on. Another feature. Absolutely love this feature too. You have the ability to continue taking off this specific conduit on another drawing. Love it. That's what happens is, when that happens, is you're gonna have, let's say you're doing a little build out and they're only giving you this portion, and on a full size floor plan, which is probably like your second or third page on the overall drawing set, they're gonna give you that, and then they're gonna show you, this area is your scope of work. But I have to take this to a panel that's, not shown. So I don't have another drawing I could show, but I can show you how to do it though. So let's say I gotta bring something from the roof down, and I can actually use this conduit. What you do is right click this, and then you can continue measurement on another drawing. Once you do that, it's gonna say navigate to the desired drawing, then press measure. So I'm gonna show you an Accubid. It is open and ready for you to go. You don't have to do nothing else. You're staying on the same screen and looking. Like I was saying before, you gotta have 2 screens for this. Seamless. We want to go to the drawing, and I think the next one is a roof plan, right? No, that's the second floor. So it really doesn't matter. But I'll just show you. So you hit measure, and awesome feature. You got to hit the scale. So there's no scale. I can't, like I said before, you can't move this, right? I can't move it. Just hit set scale anyway, and now you can start moving. So we got to look at this. Okay, 3/16. Let's hit it 3/16. Now you see your measure button attached to the mouse, the arrow. So now you just go up to there, click it, and start drawing it over. And let's say that we're gonna pick up that right there, hit return quantity. Now, however, how you know this is that you're gonna see that symbol. It looks like an arrow with something rolled up, like a little scroll. That signifies that you're taking this measurement is coming from another drawing, and now you have two drops. One could be the 10-footer, and one could be only going down another 5 feet. You could change this here to add another one there, and we're gonna say there's two, but we're not gonna say they're 10 feet each. We're gonna say they're maybe 6 feet each, and then in the end it's gonna add an overall 20 feet to that run. If you guys like doing drops of 10 only because you could only buy a 10-foot stick of conduit, it's totally up to you. You're not going to lose any money by putting 6. You're just making yourself a little bit more competitive, because in a job like this, you're probably going to buy 20,000 feet of conduit, and a half a stick here and a half a stick there. It's going to add up, and it's going to round up in the end to the nearest tenths anyway. So totally up to you guys. Just keep that in mind. So yeah, measurement from another drawing, it's awesome. Love the feature. Make sure you hit OK, and then now when you click this, it always shows it like that. Let's jump back into the other one. So we're gonna go into the edit trace, and I didn't talk about this as much in the other one, so we're gonna hit edit trace. So each of your lines, and they call it a trace, you're able to configure the points if you want to add points to it. It's kind of weird if you do, but you can change the lines, the widths and whatnot, and I can even change it to like a dashed line if there is, maybe this was all underground, and that's how you're telling yourself that this is all going to be underground. You can change the thickness if it gets too thick. I'll put 0.3, and then I'll change the color to show you how it's done, and we'll hit OK, and then it automatically does it for you. Love that feature. Awesome. And if you got too many systems on the drawings, that'll work too if you don't want to filter these things on and off. You can also control the transparency of it. So this is not 100% solid. So if I go in here, you could still see the back of this. The line's not too thick, so it might be a bad example. Maybe let's up the trace to like 6, make it real thick. Yeah, it's still not gonna work. Well, the thing is, you could control the transparency of this, and I'll show you this. So let's say it's right there, it's probably like 80%. Maybe if we go down to maybe 30, I believe it's going to be very, yeah. So you see it's a lot transparent, and it's not going to help you. So I usually keep it around, I would say that's probably like almost 80%, and it's good. You don't want to make them too thick, because your home runs will start adding up, and I personally just like to make everything nice and clean. That way, if when I do my supports differently. Just keep that in mind. When I'm done, I'll do my support. So if I got 15 conduits coming over there, I'm not going to put a support in for each one of these, because you're going to have way too many hours and not enough material. I'll put a rack, and I'll draw the rack out this way really quick, and that's how I'll take it off. And what happens is, and I'll just say this is like another run. I'll take it off just like this, and that way I'm following my pipes. They're all gonna follow the same route. And this is just, I know you could connect more circuits to this, but I'm just showing you if these were different. different runs going back. So I could come back and I could say, all right, well, I'm gonna put a rack in this whole entire run, and now my supports are done. I don't have all this extra supports in there. User preference, you don't have to do it this way. This is something I do. I'm more confident in my bid when I do it this way. Feeders are exactly the same way, but the advantage of doing feeders the same way you do a branch conduit wire is this. So if you hit feeder conduit wire, you hit EMT steel compression and demonstrating purpose. Let's say we got 4-inch. But okay, I'm going to jump back into LiveCount, and I'm going to say that there is a, say there's just a huge piece of equipment that needs a 4-inch. So I'm going to take this off and I'm going to go the shorter route. I'm not going to follow the branch the long way, come all the way over, and I'll just hit it right there. Now I'm going to jump back into Accubid. We're going to, and this is the key advantage I was telling you. So if you see these are, this one is in the branch, but kind of went wire some takeoff up there. Parallel runs is actually not, and this is an advantage when you're using feeders, because this is going to automatically lower your labor, because the program is figuring you're just putting pipes side by side. So it's not going to take it like you're running a single 4-inch all the way down. So in this case, we're going to say I got 2 parallel runs. Okay, so it's going to automatically multiply this out. So you see there's 100 feet, 101 feet. It's adding that extra 100. It's adding another count to that. It's adding all the lanes and what it needs to do. You hit OK. I'm not going to add any elbows. I got an elbow in there. I'm going to hit next. And then I'm going to hit THHN. And let's say we got 500s in here. And we got 4 conductors, which is fine. And then now you see there's the 2 fills. And then this gives you your wire makeup. At least a minimum of 15%. That'll take up your wire, make up your wire makeup there. Perfecting. You don't have to worry about making any kind of labor impacting to this. It's already been done. Right click and finish, and then that's all done now. You could come back in here, depending on if you didn't add the drop here. You want to make sure you do your drops on each side. We'll hit 2. That covers that. That automatically adds it to Accubid. I'm not even jumping in. It's doing it for me. Branch, conduit, and wire. To do this in LiveCount with Accubid, it's so fast. I've been telling people this for years, that they should have moved on to this. Nobody wants to move on to this. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying nobody, but a lot of people I've ran into, they just don't want to do it. Plus, not a lot of people do what I do. You're going to find rarity that there's not a lot of people who do it this way. I know a few companies that do it, and not to this extent the way I do it, because they just bid way too much. Me, I probably bid like 35 to 40 million a year, and a lot of these guys that I know bid like 80 to 100 million a year just on their own, $1 million a year. I don't bid like that, and I don't win like that either, so my percentage is probably maybe 10 to 12% a year, which is it's not bad. It's not horrible, but it's not bad. I see average. You should be winning something like that. So yeah, this is a great way to do your branch conduit wires. You took the job off. There was effort put into it. Not only effort, there was a thought process put into it. That's my important thing. Is I'm giving you a bid. You're paying me good money to do this. You're gonna get a good bid. Once again, Alfred Flores, CEO President, New Age Electric. Any comments, questions? You want to see something? There's a few more videos on LiveCount to remain, and then we're going to start jumping into lighting controls. Thank you for watching.